Welcome back to another episode of Geeking Analysis. This week, we'll be taking a look into the rise and fall, as well as everything in between, of the multinational business empire known only as Cybus Industries, who are behind the infamous rise of a faction of Cybermen. Enjoy! Cybus Industries was a multinational monopoly that was at the top of a sick, crippled world, run by John Lumick. John Lumick was a businessman and CEO, director, and co-founder of Cybus Industries, as well as the creator of the Cybermen and high-content metal, a variation of steel utilized in the construction of the Cybermen. Lumick was diagnosed with a fatal condition that left him frail to a point where he was left paralyzed in a wheelchair equipped with a life support system. However, he denied any potential rumors that would arise regarding his health. Established in 1982, Cybus Industries was quick to become a global monopoly, spreading across many markets. These included the airship industry, finance, fitness, property, and media. Each of these areas of Cybus were featured in a range of subsidiaries: Cybus Airships, Cybus Finance, Cybus Fitness, Cybus Property, Cybus FM, Cybus Network, and Cybus Earpods. This was excluding the many companies it bought out, such as Pete Tyler's Vitex. Cybus Industries also abolished many media networks and outlets, with a notable mention being the BBC. The BBC was abolished in order for Cybusnet, presumably a variation of Cybus Network, to become the world's sole media outlet. Any and all information was distributed to the world via earpods, which were wireless earbuds handed out to the entirety of the world's population and the Cybus network. However, outside of being a multimedia giant, Cybus Industries had sinister operations going on behind the public eye, with the operations taking place under the name of International Electromatics. International Electromatics was nothing more than a dummy company, at least in Pete's world. In the Doctor's world, if you will, International Electromatics was the world's leading technology company. That was happened to be a multinational monopoly and was founded by Tobias Vaughan and behind an invasion of Cybermen. However, the operations that Cybus Industries conducted were experiments that intended to explore the possibility of human immortality, with the ultimate goal being Lumick's survival. These operations were as secretive as the CIA's mind control program during the Cold War. There was no word of it outside of those conducting the experiments, and any leaked evidence of these operations was covered up as unsolved cases. For example, in 2004, New South America reported the disappearance of 265,000 people. These individuals were unfortunate victims of Cybus's early explorations into human immortality. They were likely homeless people who were common test subjects for Cybus Industries experiments, all the way to the day of the ultimate upgrade program. Homeless people were taken off the streets from many parts of the world, including Great Britain, and converted into Cybermen. Cybermen were what John Lumick imagined to be the next evolutionary step for humankind. They were human brains wired inside a suit of steel armor. The brain was kept alive, with all emotion suppressed by an emotional inhibitor, and was flooded with a chilled protein solution to prevent cellular decay. The armor itself contained an artificially grown nervous system that allowed for the brain to control its new body to the extent it could with its armor. The Cybermen of Pete's world were branded with the Cybus logo, which was located in the center of their chests. This trait was shared amongst all of the Cybermen, including the superior Cyberman, designated as Cyber Controller. Initially, the Cyber Controller was John Lumick, who had been converted by the Cybermen. They designated him to the role of Cyber Controller, and he retained the emotions of hatred and anger. This meant Lumick arguably wasn't a proper Cyberman. However, his goal had been achieved. He had evolved into humanity's next step and obtained immortality, ridding him of his fatal illness. Years after the collapse of Cybus Industries, a variation of the Cyber Controller existed. It was a Cyberman Borg hybrid and likely retained the same emotions as its only known predecessor. Moving back to Cybus, the company, despite all of its wealth and influence over the world, saw a gradual collapse across the space for 3 years, from 2007 to 2010. The collapse began with the intervention of the Doctor, his companions and the Preachers, the death of John Lumick, and the shutdown of Battersea Power Station, London's cyber conversion factory. The collapse continued after the Doctor and Rose left Pete's world with Mickey and Jake, the last members of the Preachers, travelling the world with the intention of liberating the many cities ruled over by Cybus Industries and the Cybermen. Their first destination was Paris, which was successfully liberated. However, despite the eventual collapse of Cybus Industries, the Cybermen it created retained their affiliation with the company, as the Cybus emblem remained on the chest units until the Cybermen, having existed in the Doctor's world for some time by this point, had joined forces with the Mondasian Cybermen. Combining together and forming the Legion Cybermen, they were identical to the Cybus Cybermen but lacked the Cybus emblem. Once again, we've reached the end of the video. Now, I hope you enjoyed this week's video just as much as I enjoyed making it. Make sure to like and share this video, as well as subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss any future videos. Also, make sure to stay tuned for next week's video, and I'll see you next week. Bye!